guys, I'm so excited. This is my very first YouTube video. My name is Kim Peters. I'm an artist and I am really, really stoked to give you guys, I don't like that word. I am just really thrilled to be able to share with you some of the things that you should not do as an artist. I am a self-taught artist and I have learned so much the hard way, and I just want to put some stuff out there. So if you're somebody who's learning to paint or who wants to paint, you know, to give you the encouragement on how to do it and also how to think, how to see, so that you don't make a lot of the mistakes that I did. Today, I want to talk about 3 myths, 3 of the most common things that I see even now and that I fell for when I was first starting to paint. So here we go. Okay, myth number 1. I want to say that anybody who has tried to learn on their own, who has looked for resources to try and improve their painting, has probably run into this at some point. And I'm going to say right up front that this is kind of a personal thing. This is not necessarily something that everybody would agree with, but it's something that I have found, and that among my friends and among the artists that I really love and admire, this is something that they do not do. What I'm talking about are the books, the PDFs, you know, whatever website is out there that says that they have color mixing recipes. So they have these formulas or recipes. So if you do a certain ratio, that you mix a certain percentage of this color and another percentage of another one, then you'll get this tone. It would be perfect for the cheek of a person who is from, you know, northern Norway or something like that. I bought the book. I will admit that. I bought the book. I thought, okay, well, you know, this is a great resource for me. I'm totally self-taught. I'm just starting this out. I want to really do this right. I want to learn how to mix skin tone. I could never even approximate, even with buying the exact tubes of color that they said, which, by the way, is a huge money grab. Just putting that out there, personal opinion. And it never worked. What I ended up having to do was I just threw away the book and I said, okay, this is obviously not working for me, so what do I need to do? It's not about formulas. That actually is kind of a lie, because who's to say that somebody from northern Norway in a blue light would have this mix of colors? It just totally depends on the lighting. It depends on what they're wearing, what's reflecting around them. It depends on their genetic mix. You know, my skin coloring is very different from my daughter's skin coloring, and, you know, she's related to me. It just really depends on so many different factors that it cannot be the answer to really great skin tone. So what is the answer is training your brain to see. It's about really taking the time to observe what is right in front of you, to try and approximate with your mixes, with your basic colors that you have, what you're actually seeing. Forget that it should be this mix that you use for the lip. You know, sometimes there are some general rules, and, you know, I know there's going to be people out there who will say that this really worked for them, and that's great. Good on ya. Didn't work for me. So that's what I would recommend, is don't waste your money on these pre-mix books. The recipes, they just don't work as well as taking the time to train your brain to see. Myth number 2. This is what I initially started out doing, and I thought this was the best way because I was actually having some success at it, and that is using earth colors for skin. Now, I will say that some people do it and they do a marvelous job, but I found that I wasn't able to get really luminous colors by using earth colors. I was kind of getting ashen colors, mostly brownish, beigeish colors, which was just kind of boring. Anyway, by earth colors, I mean your umbers, raw and burnt umber, your ochres, although I do use an ochre, but, you know, red ochre, yellow ochre, I think they even have a green ochre. I need to check on that. The siennas, the raw and the burnt siennas, and the terre verte, I don't know how you say that in English, but terre verte, I think that's how it is. So all of those earthy colors, they kind of combine to form like an ashen palette. which is fine if that's really what you're going for, if that's your look, that's your style. But if you're looking for radiant, realistic, alive skin tone, I think you would like to use more of the jewel tones. And I've done a little demo to show you how. And here we have two time-lapse paintings side by side, the Naughty palette using the umbers and ochres versus the jewel tones, which is the nice painting that clearly you can tell is much better. Okay, let's talk about myth number 3. Yes. Got to make sure I got, yeah. So myth number 3 is that you don't need a whole lot of colors to get really brilliant skin tone. And this is something that I fell for hook, line, and sinker. Totally fell for it. I would look at some of the paintings that my favorite artists had posted and I'd go, oh my goodness, how did they get that? And then they'd say something like,
I just went out and got this cool purple and it's just made all the difference for me.
So you guessed it, I would go out and just buy that purple. And I would be completely taken by the fact that this was the thing. This was the answer to all of my painting problems. I would have no problem from now on. It wasn't that I wasn't able to think through things. I wasn't able to, measure what I was painting and see stuff. It was that I was missing that one color. Like, I really fell for it. I really, really fell for it. There's a lot of them here. And I'm so cheap, I can't throw any of them away. What I want to tell you is how I kind of figured out how to get really radiant skin tone. And it was actually by eliminating a whole bunch of these colors. Less is more sometimes. I ended up just whittling down my palette to the absolute bare essentials. What I found was that when I started thinking of my paints as friends, so if I have 5 friends, I'm hoping I have more than 5 friends, but if I had 5 friends and I spend time with them, I get to know their behavior, I get to figure out all their little idiosyncrasies, their likes, their dislikes, and when they're all together, how they interact with each other, the things that, make them them. I get to know their personalities. So what happens is the same thing for paints. If I have fewer colors, then I just understand them better. When you have 100 colors, there's no way in the world that you can actually spend enough time getting to know these colors and how they will interact with each other. And I ended up just painting everything to brown, like literally everything to brown. And I was so frustrated that I couldn't get that lifelike, that brilliant skin color. So when I eliminated a whole bunch of colors and I came down to the palette that I use right now, which I will get. This is actually my basic palette now. And this is the one that I use for skin. You can see a whole bunch of other colors in here. There's a black, there's a couple of blue spots. These are just kind of accidentals that I use if I'm doing a landscape, or I just find, there's this shirt that is this color and it would just be easier for me to go get this tube and put it on. But basically this is the palette that I use for everything, but mostly skin, okay? So I want to go through this just color by color really quickly and explain why I chose these. Because as I was painting, initially I didn't know why it was working so much, but now I've had more time with these colors and now I kind of understand why they are working. So this is my basic titanium white. I know a lot of people like different whites. There's a yellower white. There's one that, costs $1 million. I don't know. This is just a basic titanium white. This is the one that I like the feeling of, the texture of. So I use it. This is a yellow ochre. Again, just kind of creamy. There are some that, they just feel better. They're thicker or they're thinner. I just find the one that I like the best. This is a cadmium yellow. And here's where the magic comes in. I realized that I have a cool yellow and a warm yellow. Cool. Here's my cadmium red. And here's Alizarin crimson. So now I have a warm red and a cool red. this isn't incidental. This is one that I use for shadows. So this isn't really one of my skin colors, but I use it quite a bit for shadows for hair. And it's transparent, no, red iron oxide transparent. I don't know. It's this color here. And the reason I can't say it is because I buy it in Spanish, and so I'm not actually sure of what it is in English, but it's this color here. And it's actually kind of an orangey red, so it's not really conducive to skin. It's better for the shadows, and I just find that mixing these two plus the green or the blue just ends up making a brilliant shadow. Anyway, here are my greens, and I have a warm green and a cool green, and it just works out. And I only have one blue. I used to have two blues, trying to find, you know, one that's warm and one that's cool, and I found that it didn't make that much of a difference. I could just, you know, add a little bit of another color to make it a little bit warmer if I needed to. So this is it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 friends. And I just know how they interact with each other. I'm used to them. They are like my friends. And so that's how I'm able to achieve radiant skin color. I hope that makes sense for you guys. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I am just so honored that you would have stuck around for the video, and I hope that in the following videos that I do that you learn some more. I hope that you learned lots today, and I hope that you can comment on something you'd like to see or something that you did learn, and let me know how it goes when you try these things out. I would love to hear from you. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, of course, because that is the YouTube thing. But remember these 3 myths so you don't fall prey to them. So I hope it saves you money too, because you don't need to buy into all kinds of gimmicks. And I hope to see you soon. Thanks again for joining me. Bye-bye.